Hey, a very warm welcome, everybody. So, I see that you have started preparing for generative artificial intelligence roles, and this video series is created in order to help candidates preparing for generative artificial intelligence roles. So, I'm going to share my screen and let's see what all roles we are going to cover during this program. So, we are currently taking up generative artificial intelligence in this video series, where we would be considering around 65 different types of job roles which are open in generative artificial intelligence. And we are taking around 39 companies, those who are recruiting for generative artificial intelligence. So you're going to gain an experience across multiple companies about what kind of generative AI roles are open and what kind of skill set, experience, certifications, and projects would be needed in order to clear those interviews. And we will be helping you with interview preparations as well. So generally, in order to get started for a generative AI role, let us see what kind of roles are currently open. So, if I tell you about top roles which are quite popular, so the first one is generative AI engineer. For this, people from 0 to 3 years of experience can apply for these roles. So, followed by we have, let's say, generative AI architect. That is a very common role, and this role is a senior level role for people with 10 plus years of experience and in fact more experiences. Apart from that, there are startups, those who are looking for founding generative AI engineers. And in fact, there are roles open like data science manager for generative AI. So these are the top certain roles which are open in generative artificial intelligence. Apart from that, if you see companies like Deloitte, Tata Consultancy Services, Schneider Electric, Elite Recruitments, Ultimate AI, these are some top five companies which we are considering in this particular discussion. So, generative AI roles are available across what do we say, India, and in fact, the openings are available worldwide, but currently in this video series, we are focused for India region, and later we will be making content for global region as well. So now if I quickly show you, so here you see some of the highest roles in demand. So the first one is generative AI engineer, followed by there are many more roles which we would be discussing. So there are roles like lead AI ML, then there are requirements for senior data scientist, generative AI, senior staff engineers, generative AI. Then there are openings for AI engineer with generative AI and agentic AI experiences. Then the roles are open for data scientists with machine learning and generative AI. There are contract-based opportunities available as a generative AI engineer. In fact, there are positions like generative AI developer as well. So these are certain set of positions which are technical, which are available. Apart from that, there are positions for generative AI product manager, generative AI solution architect, generative AI, agentic AI managers. So here is a complete, list of people which are required for generative AI roles. And in fact, senior manager, lead generative AI engineers. So these are the available roles which we are considering in this particular video series for interview preparations. So let's say I'm going to get started with the very first role, let's say, which is the generative AI engineer. So let us target for people with, let's say, 0 to 3 years of experience, or we can do one thing. We can, let's say, quickly see what would be the overall skill set required and what are the overall organizations, those who are currently recruiting for, Gen AI roles first. And then we will get into role-based discussions. So if you see the organizations which are hiring, they are Deloitte, TCS, Ultimate AI, Jasper Collin, Schneider Electric, Ace Indian, Negaro, Scuto AI, Shishing Company. Then we have True Tech Professionals, Turgan AI, Astoria AI. Then we have Bennett Coleman and Company Limited, which is the Times of India group. They are recruiting. Then we have Big Step Technologies, Birla Soft, Cars 24, Digital Champ, Ease My Trip, Eucloid Data Solutions, EXL, Hackvida, Infogain, Infosys, KPMG, Make My Trip. Then we have Philo Design, RoboYo, then we have Smart Move Consultant, Systems of Technologies, the Windsor Consulting. Then we have ThoughtSol Infotech Limited, Trillion Inclusive, Velivo HR, and Visa. These are certain organizations which we are currently considering in this video series. And we would be considering those, interviews, how these organizations, what kind of questions would be asked for certain roles with these kind of organizations. Okay. So this is what we are going to cover in this program. Followed by, if you see, the availability and the demand of generative AI roles is across all corners of India, inclusive of Bangalore, Gurgaon, Mumbai, Noida, Pune. So at all the top hubs, Hyderabad, there are opportunities open for generative artificial intelligence roles. So people from all of these areas can, start preparing, those who are interested for generative AI roles. Now, the most important skill set when you get started with a generative AI role is Python programming language. Okay. So what exactly is Python if you see? So we can see that Python is a primary programming language for artificial intelligence and machine learning development. And this is due to its simplicity and extensive libraries. Okay. So what Python has to offer, it is a very simple programming language. Anybody can learn it within a couple of, weeks. And it offers you a wide range of libraries, inclusive of libraries for, visualizations, libraries for mathematical equations implementation. So this is one of the most promising programming language which is required for generative AI technical roles. Okay. So Python is majorly in demand. So it is not necessary that you need to have it for generative AI non-tech roles, but generally for technical roles, you need to know about Python programming language. Okay. And if you see, proficiency in Python enables efficient implementation of generative AI models. Okay. So the major objective is what all generative AI models are available. We use Python in order to efficiently implement those models. Okay. That is what is important. And apart from the implementation of these generative AI models, data processing needs to be done. So Python is very good at data processing, where data from different sources could be processed. And then there are options like integration of this data with frameworks like TensorFlow and PyTorch. Okay. So these are also very important frameworks. So now if you get an idea about why we are using Python for AI and machine learning, so we are using it because of its simplicity. It has access to an extensive set of library. It helps implementation of generative AI models. It helps process data, and it helps in integration with frameworks like TensorFlow and PyTorch, which are deep learning neural network model frameworks. Okay. So Python is an important programming language which you need to know. And eventually we will get started with interview questions on Python, and we will see how we can, take those questions and prepare for interviews for generative AI where Python related questions would be asked.